This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, a regional council rates rises on the cards as the ORC plans its spending for the coming year. A woman and her best friend affected by the Christchurch earthquakes arrive in Dunedin on a journey of healing. And it's crunch time for some of the city's fashion graduates as their work is pitted against that of their global peers. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. The Otago Regional Council is seeking public feedback after making changes to its newly released draft annual plan. The document includes additional money for ongoing and new projects within the city and around the region, and that's due to drive rates up locally.
Reading through the proposals, the Otago Regional Council is looking through changes in the draft annual plan as it seeks views from residents.
The annual plan has got some amendments from a long-term plan, and we're seeking feedback from the community. Submissions are open until the 6th of May, and we're going to run through to some hearings in the middle of May.
There are a number of suggested programs and activities for Otago within the draft annual plan. The Regional Council is continuing its investment in the Leith River Works. Flood protection and drainage schemes will affect residents directly. Local public transport is also set to get a makeover with general improvements to bus functions and a new central city hub.
Ongoing activities will see the next stage, which will involve ITS spend in the Leith flood scheme, and working our way through to completion on that project, and also the ongoing improvements in public transport.
Nearly $300,000 in ratepayer money is being put towards the flood and drainage scheme, as the ORC says that will have a great public benefit. These additional costs and the introduction of more activities means rates will rise. ORC staff say the average house in the region will see an increase of $7.50 per month.
When we chuck in some new activities and we add them all up, we've also reviewed our flood and drainage scheme rates for both the Clutha and Taira areas. They have an impact on general rate also, and when we add that up, there is an increase.
The ORC's put the plan and a rates calculator on its website, and staff are urging residents to submit their feedback. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
The St Kilda fire station is getting a permanent fix after making do with temporary plywood doors for several months. The station's new roller door has been installed, although it's not quite operational. A few manufacturing faults have been identified and should be fixed within a week. In the meantime, the temporary plywood doors will stay in place. They'll be removed when the new door is working. A fire truck damaged the original roller door beyond repair late last year. Replacing it has cost about $30,000. A woman badly affected by the Christchurch earthquakes is journeying around New Zealand as part of the healing process. She's arrived in Dunedin after several months of touring and raising money for charity, and she's accompanied by her best friend.
Riding into town, Cantabrian Lisa McNaughton and her dog Indy have arrived in Dunedin on their 13-region cycle tour of New Zealand. It's her way of getting out into the world and showing her philanthropic side.
The original plan for the whole trip is to raise funds for 13 charities based through the regions. And we're riding predominantly New Zealand cycle trails, which is fantastic, and also presenting at schools, which I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. Obviously India is a huge hit.
McNaughton is no stranger to adventure, having hiked through Nepal and done multi-sport racing in New Zealand. Her passion for that came to a halt when the Christchurch earthquakes extensively damaged her home. She suffered a stress-related breakdown in the months following, but after some time to heal, she's feeling good.
It's also a recovery trip for me. I suffered some mental health issues and spent a couple of years on the couch. So, this is the perfect way for me to recover.
Her local charity of choice is the Otago Medical Research Foundation, which provides scholarships and grants for health studies. She's using Give a Little and her own website to raise money for charities with the goal of helping as much as possible.
It was about choosing a different type of charity for each region, and something that I thought that I could contribute and would benefit the region.
By the time the pair finish, they'll have travelled about 3,000 kilometres. They're due to complete their journey in Invercargill around the middle of next month. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
A new pier is to be built at the Dunedin Botanic Garden Duck Pond. The Friends of the Dunedin Botanic Garden Group is funding the $39,000 project. Construction is set to begin next month. The pier should be ready by November, when the group will mark the 30th anniversary of its relationship with the Dunedin City Council. At a meeting yesterday, councillors agreed to pay for the structure's maintenance, estimated to be $1,000 a year. A seating area and gravel walkway will be included in the build. The city's top fashion graduates are having their best work judged against collections from designers around the globe. Dozens of outfits have been scrutinised by an international panel of judges ahead of a public runway showcase. And the locals involved are already reaping the benefits.
Making last-minute improvements. This Otago Polytechnic fashion graduate is smoothing her creations before showing them to a panel of judges. She's one of 4 local finalists in this year's ID International Emerging Designer Awards. Despite the high-stakes nature of the event, she's loving it.
Not often you get to see people from outside your group, at Polytech, or you don't really see any other university. So yeah, it's amazing to be a part of it. Yeah.
There are 39 finalists altogether. 10 are from New Zealand, 18 are from Australia, and 11 have travelled from Asia, Europe and South America. They're at the mercy of 6 industry heavyweights from Dunedin and abroad who are selecting winners.
Even just getting to meet the judges, because they're all amazing industry-based professionals, so just getting to talk to them and show your work to them is just a privilege, I reckon. Yeah.
Fellow Otago graduate Brittany Pooley's also revelling in the opportunity. She says regardless of the outcome, the awards are providing valuable experience.
It's just really great exposure for emerging designers. We don't get a lot of opportunities to show our work on such a big platform. So I think a lot of us are just really grateful to be able to show our stuff.
All the finalists' garments will be modelled to the Dunedin public tomorrow night at an awards show. Standout collections will be included in other ID events this week, including on the railway station catwalk. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we meet the only Kiwi who's been commended in an international competition, and members of the RMTU celebrate a win.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
The team at Caltex North care more about you than just putting fuel in your tank. They care about you and your family. At the Caltex Valley Workshop, the skilled service team care about your safety, extending the life of your car and helping you live more economically. There's a range of modern equipment to give comprehensive warrant of fitness checks and servicing to your vehicle. Come visit your only local in North East Valley and receive 10% off when you book your warrant and service together. That's your friendly Caltex Valley Workshop, 134 North Road, or book online at caltexvalley.co.nz.
Hippocrates Limited have been supplying beekeeping equipment and honey products in New Zealand for over 100 years. A specialist manufacturer of hiveware and plastic products for the beekeeping industry. They are the leading supplier of beekeeping equipment nationwide. For all your beekeeping needs, visit ecrotech.co.nz or call 0800 117766.
Pellet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pellet fires, so easy, so efficient.
New Zealand Beeswax Limited are the quintessential beeswax, woodware and beekeeping suppliers. From the amateur beekeeper to the commercial operator, New Zealand Beeswax Limited has the quantity to meet your needs. For great prices, great service New Zealand-wide, contact New Zealand Beeswax Limited on 03 693 9189 or visit www.beeswax.co.nz.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Welcome back. A drop in export earnings is driving down the country's account balance to a $1.9 billion deficit. That was in the last quarter when the value of exported goods fell by almost $600 million. Import values were also reduced following a record high in the previous quarter. The dairy downturn is largely being blamed for decreasing export revenue. Farmers are bracing themselves for a low seasonal payout as the industry continues to decline. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day down 15 points. It's now at 6,563. The FTSE is down 35 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against the yen and the pound, but it is down against the greenback, the Australian and the euro. A Dunedin author is the only New Zealander to be commended in this year's Hippocrates Prize for Poetry and Medicine. Sue Wotton is thrilled to have success in the prestigious international competition, and she joins us to talk about that as well as her work locally. Good evening.
Hello.
What is the Hippocrates Prize?
Well, it's a London-based initiative. It's an international prize for a poem. It's an annual event, so they run an international prize for a poem with a medical theme, really. So it's an initiative to really promote the link between poetry and medicine.
What did you enter?
I entered a poem that I had, quite a personal poem actually, that I'd written about my father when he was unwell and being admitted into hospital. So it's really a poem addressed to the nurse who conducted the admission interview with him.
Did she ever get to see your poem?
Not yet, no.
How many poems received commendation?
There were about 20 in this open international category, because they have another category for people working in the public health field in England. And then they have an international category and a youth category. So they had about 1,000 entries in the open competition, the international one, of which 20 were commended, and my poem was one of them. That list includes poets from England, Scotland, Ireland, France, Australia.
Now, the award ceremony is being held in London. Are you planning on jetting over?
I'd love to go, but no. No.
Now, you've entered previously. Tell us about your success previously.
I entered in 2013 and was placed second.
So what does it mean to you to be commended?
Well, it's a great... I feel very honoured, actually. The works are always judged blind, so the judges don't know anything except the work in front of them. They just read the poetry. So it's a wonderful feeling to have your work pulled out of that pile and commended. And also they publish an anthology every year of all the commended works, which is a lovely book, the Hippocrates Prize annual anthology. It's a very rich collection of poetry about medicine, and it's a whole collection of imaginative response to being confronted by illness, really, written by anyone, from patients through to high-end specialists. Anyone can enter the competition.
Now, on a slightly different note, you're helping with the 3rd annual Dunedin Secondary Schools Poetry Competition. Tell us a wee bit about that.
Well, we have been running this competition for 3 years. It's open to high school students, years 9 to 13, in the Dunedin region. This year we have some co-sponsorship with Amnesty International, and we're running the poetry competition on the theme of home. So we would like students from around Dunedin to respond to that theme in a poem or poems, so you can enter up to 3 poems. All you have to do is go to the website rightnow.org.nz, that's WRITE, right now, and you'll find the competition details there, and enter a poem by the 6th of May and be in to win.
How many students usually enter?
We usually get about, it's been creeping up over the 3 years, which is fantastic, because the goal of this is to encourage young people to write and to get their work out there so that students know that there's a readership for their poetry. So that's really the whole point of running this competition, is to encourage young people to put pen to paper and get going on the art of poetry. So I think last year we had about 60 entries. We want more this year. So,
What are the prizes on offer this year?
This year there are cash prizes, courtesy of Amnesty International, and also a book vouchers from the University Bookshop, who are also co-sponsoring the competition.
Local poet Sue Wotton, thank you very much for your time and good luck with the competition.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, hundreds of school kids take part in an event that's taken place in a new location, and we're on the streets to see which flag design you prefer.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
For professional, reliable and approachable service where your dream kitchen design can become an affordable reality, contact the team at Kitchens for Less. Call 455 9973 or visit us online.
Tech Limited have been supplying beekeeping equipment and honey products in New Zealand for over 100 years. A specialist manufacturer of hiveware and plastic products for the beekeeping industry. They are the leading supplier of beekeeping equipment nationwide. For all your beekeeping needs, visit ecrotech.co.nz or call 0800 117766. Christie Glass Houses and Sheds, good to grow stuff in. The first choice for gardeners for over 100 years. Built to withstand extreme weather conditions and hard work. Full range of options available. Thomas Burns Street across the road from the railway station. Free call 0800 Allens.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now. They will love you forever.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
New Zealand Beeswax Limited are the quintessential beeswax, woodware and beekeeping suppliers. From the amateur beekeeper to the commercial operator, New Zealand Beeswax Limited has the quantity to meet your needs. For great prices, great service New Zealand-wide, contact New Zealand Beeswax Limited on 03 693 9189 or visit www.beeswax.co.nz.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. The Rail and Maritime Transport Union is celebrating a win in a local case involving Dunedin Railways. Union members were protesting last week over the treatment of a Dunedin Railways worker. She was threatened with disciplinary action for raising concerns about a perceived health and safety issue. It related to a vehicle being driven on rail tracks while a train was in operation and the potential for a collision. The woman was eventually given a verbal warning, but that was challenged by the union. Members were worried it could set a negative precedent. Yesterday, Dunedin Railways withdrew the warning. More than 400 school children have been running, cycling and swimming their way around Port Chalmers. They were participating in the Dunedin Primary and Intermediate Schools Triathlon, run annually by Sport Otago. And organisers say a new venue is helping to make the event safer.
Getting their game faces on, hundreds of kids got off to a running start for the annual Dunedin Primary and Intermediate Schools Triathlon this morning. The event is run by Sport Otago, helping to showcase the best young athletes in the city.
Each school is invited to send down their top 2 athletes in each gendered age group. So most schools run off and do their own triathlon, or they'll do a cluster triathlon, and then those top kids will qualify into the Dunedin Champs.
For the first time ever, the event's been hosted at a new venue in Port Chalmers. The former base at St Clair became unsuitable and organisers are pleased with the shift.
The change to Port Chalmers was basically just due to safety. Out at St Clair it was getting a bit rough. We were sort of losing little bits of our course due to the weather and the water coming in, and also just because it's quite a populated, iconic area out there, so it's nice and quiet. It's a really awesome community out here, and yeah, we're really happy with how the day's gone.
Hamill says triathlon's growing in popularity locally. She says more schools are cottoning on to how easy it is to facilitate the sport, especially with help from Sport Otago staff.
We've grown every year, so this is the 5th year that we've done it, and we're at 406 competitors now, so we've doubled our numbers from the last 2 years, which is fantastic.
The athletes who do well can progress to the recently established Otago Championships. That'll see them competing against kids from around the region in Cromwell later this year. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
The second national flag referendum is taking place, with voters asked to choose between the current design and an alternative. Voting closes on the 24th of March, after which the winning option will be announced. So our Word on the Street team asked members of the public which flag they prefer.
I prefer the old one. I'm a bit of a conservative, and I think the new one, don't like the design, and I would probably go for a new flag, but I don't like that design.
I just like the old one because, you know, we still haven't broken ties with England, so why should we change the flag, you know? I think it's just, it's respectful to our returned servicemen.
No disrespect for the returned servicemen. My father was one, but I thought, well, one day it is going to happen. Don't know when, but one day it will happen, but I've sort of got, as I say, mixed feelings.
New one. Yeah, I like the break with tradition, like a move away from the traditional flag. Something new is good, so. And I do like the design of it.
Don't change it. I'm ex-Navy, and I served under that, went overseas under it, and leave it the same.
I prefer the old one. I just like tradition. I don't really see any need to change it. I think it identifies who we are.
I prefer the older flag, our sovereign flag, than the new flag. Pretty much because of the Anzacs and what they've done for us.
I actually prefer the newer one. I do see the point of having the Union Jack on there because of our relations with the British, but I think the silver throne is just so much more representative of New Zealand, and it looks good, you know.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. The Otago Regional Council is proposing to increase rates in the next financial year to help fund big projects like the Leak Waterworks. A Christchurch earthquake victim is undertaking a healing journey around the country while raising money for regional charities. And local fashion graduates are competing against the best young designers from overseas in this year's ID International Emerging Designer Awards. It's time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. We're joined by editor Barry Stewart. Good evening.
Hello, Rebecca. New $500,000 sausages will be in place at St Clair Beach by winter to fight the beach erosion. We were also at the ID Fashion International Emerging Designers, so we'll have coverage of that show and photos tomorrow. A fight is brewing over public access to Dunedin's Chisholm Park golf course, so walkers are under fire there, not just from golfers. 200-bed hostel or backpackers has been planned for Queenstown, and on the sporting scene, of course, we beat India in the first T20 match in the World T20 Cup, so that was a good result. Nathan McCullum got a couple of wickets, so Otago boy did well. Highlanders have named their team for the match against the Waratahs on Friday. I was going to ask you who they were playing, but I knew you knew.
I read your piece of paper before.
Oh, you did? Okay, fair enough. So that's about us. Plenty more, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. That's tomorrow's ODT. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Time now for local weather.
This weather report proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorns Sportsville.
Here is our city view. It's taken of a man painting lines at the north ground. Looks like a pushchair, doesn't it? Well, around the city at 3 o'clock today, 12 degrees for both the central city and the gardens, 15 for the Tairi. To the situation, and a small anticyclone is with us now. A mild and northerly flow will develop over the country from Friday and increase a bit on Saturday. Well, to the forecast for the main towns in the Lower South Island for tomorrow, it's actually looking quite nice. Fine is the forecast, with highs of between 18 and 20 degrees for Invercargill, Gore, Tiana and Alexandra. And it's a fine one as well for Queenstown, Wanaka and Twizel, all on 20. Nor'easters for Oamaru with some cloud about there and a high of 17. At Dunedin tonight, low cloud with a low of 8. Tomorrow, sunny periods increasing during the day, northeast winds and a high of 17. And on Friday, fine with high cloud increasing and northerlies freshening with a high of 21. And to the Otago pallet fires, tidal and fishing information. Low tide tomorrow morning is at 6:30. High tide follows at 12:12. And fishing conditions look good tomorrow morning, especially at around 20 to 9. And that's all from the team here at 39 Dunedin News for Wednesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.